Hmm. Oh, what up? Squadron TD. Okay. Streaming? Oh, we are. Been live a minute, dude. Been live a whole dang minute, man. A whole dang minute. Up in this. Bleep, bloop. Oh, that's me, dude. Bleep, bloop. Never get easy. Listening to black people, I started talking like black people do.
Because when people get out and the first thing they do is put them on fucking video, bro. And a lot of them have had like years to think up a couple bars or something, and they say the fucking dumbest shit, bro.
Right off rip.
You know, I'm gonna kill everybody. Some dude said, I was like, dang, bro. So,
free them boys though, man. Free the real ones.
Yeah, dude. I think it's yeah, I don't know. I guess it's. I don't know as many folks that have gone to prison, really. You know, I mean, I guess I would like to know more of them.
Yeah.
You know.
Where are you from again?
I'm from Louisiana.
Oh, well, you should know something.
We had some.
Depending on what part, though.
Yeah, I'm from like just north of New Orleans, about an hour. So it was just like a black and white area. Yeah. What did we have?
It was on some country shit.
Nah, it wasn't redneck. It was just like kind of poor.
Oh damn.
Poor. Shit. My area was like poor white and poor black, and then they had like some wealthier people, but they wasn't that wealthy. They just seemed wealthy, you know. Like they had a fucking garage, you know.
You
know.
So the people around you, nobody was really wealthy.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No. It was fucking.
You said a garage would be right.
Yeah, like we had a bus driver, dude. He picked us up one day and he didn't even take us to fucking school, bro. This dude Milford, he just drove us around. And about 30 minutes into it, we're like, fuck, we ain't even going to school, bro. We were just on.
I'm taking y'all to do something weird. That's what he's about to take.
No, he was just driving. I think he's trying to stay away from his wife.
Really?
And I think.
But why not just take y'all to school and then he drive
no, bro. That wasn't on his mind, man. He had different shit on his mind. And look,
his name is Milford.
His name is Milford, bro.
Milford shit.
And he had a mixed child. He had a mixed child named Boogie. And he pretended like it was him and his white wife's child, but they had a black lady named Tilly that swept out his school bus. And they had a child.
A black lady named Tilly?
Yeah.
Tilly.
T-I-L-L-Y.
Milford Tilly.
No. Milford.
No. Milford Tilly. And what was the nigga name? The little nigga? Boogie. I got you.
Bro, the crazy shit was he tried to tell everybody it was him and his wife's child, right? Because he didn't want nobody to know that he was messing around, you know? And so they would dress him up in western shit to make him look whiter, and make him wear like boots and like a little cowboy hat. And so he looked like as white as possible, you know? And so they always had him like he was always just kind of, you know, like all this little. But it was just interesting, you know, it just kind of yeah, I don't know, I guess it was. I mean, it wasn't just
I'm not saying those times.
Oh, yeah, no, it was.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like times where like kids weren't really giving a fuck.
Oh, yeah, current kids weren't getting, it was just like.
You go.
Yeah, there was all type of shit going on.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, but now it's like,
Nowadays, I mean, I feel like, yeah, when I was young, everybody was getting molested or nowadays, I feel like the kid wouldn't even notice he's molested. He's so busy on the Kindle, you know?
what? So busy on the Kindle.
I mean, on the screen, it's like you can't even get a
book reading shit.
yeah, you can't even get a kid's attention. They're so busy
Yeah,
on the console,
Man,
you know?
that's dark.
Is it? Oh, dude, my bad.
Yeah. Yes,
Oh,
yes.
shit.
Wow.
What else, man? Damn, I don't know. Fuck. Y'all got me fucked
We
up.
went down a dark hole there. Where's slavery to that? What are you doing, man? What are you doing?
Bro, you said,
I was talking about spanking kids, bro.
you said Tilly.
You went to molestation.
Oh, man, I'm just trying to make conversation, bro.
That conversation started. Like the worst conversation starter ever. Kids do a lot of shit.
You're right, they're great, man.
Yeah. Like the worst thing that can happen to a kid. Other than murder. Like the worst shit.
Y'all fucked up, man. Y'all fucking up.
This dude's sick and they trying to put it on y'all. You hear him?
I'm just saying, y'all fucking up, man.
Yeah, man.
That's it, man. Roses are red, violets are blue, and our friends at Manscaped have a gift for you. That's right. The leader in grooming has revolutionized their men's hygiene game once again with the new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. This cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel with 20 hair cutting lengths, all in one yard. And even better, save 20% off and free shipping by going to manscaped.com and using code NEO. That's right, it's Valentine's Day. You want to shape up that chin garden, baby. You want to groom up that cheek for us, homie. Get
Additional supply depots required. Additional supply depots required.
Right. Shit, punch one. Huh? One stroke, one guard. 20 links. Do you ever run across Boosie in Atlanta or no?
Nah, I wish I could. We tried to get Boosie on the show. He taxed us, bro. Just on some black love shit, you know, some brotherhood shit. Nah, I think how much he tried to,
I don't know. Dang, we ain't paying 20,000.
yeah, nah, he tried.
Wow. Did y'all think about it?
That's a great guy to have on. It's hard to get 7
Oh.
But I salute him. You gotta get your money.
Yeah, and he does everything, I think, individuals. Everything in his world seems kind of a la carte. Like, he doesn't like, he doesn't trust the big system, you know? I think he does everything, like, literally,
Even his movies, he does all that by himself.
in cash, you know? What's the wildest product you've seen somebody have, man? Because I think some people have some wild products.
And product, you mean like gold?
Yeah, like something like Boosie has his chips, and that's great, right? Master P has a chip.
Master P chips.
I'm trying to think of something that's...
Moneybag Yo just started his own.
No, I drink water to Black Towns. I didn't have a line. What about a cologne or something? Like they have something.
I would definitely get into that. I like, you smell the cologne I had on when I came.
I don't know. You guys smell good. You guys smell good, man.
You smell like
Honestly, I usually think it's like a lot of Bruh, my
yeah, no, black people do wear a lot of deodorant.
love
though.
deodorant,
Yeah,
bro.
we-
You'll
we-
see somebody
We
starting
love,
the
yeah,
wrist.
we have
Starting the wrist, bro. That shit on so slow, like, dang.
Oh my god! Nah, man, I was just asking because he actually did indulge in deodorant.
Oh yeah, bro. And Drewski would be a great name for a cologne.
Winter skin. Yeah, that's good. Winter skin. Yeah. Nah, I that's something to think about for real. I would love to do some shit.
No, I think I would do something. Something with skateboards. Dude, I'm not good at that. Skateboarding's hard. I don't like that kind of stuff, like being like out of control. I think I would do like a maybe a graham cracker or something.
I felt that.
Dude, what do you think? We went to Louisiana. We went to the LSU game just a couple months back. And what do you think compared to some other college like football experiences that you've been on, that you've been to? You did? I saw some of them, man. I don't think I did.
You took
man.
something down. Go ahead, show the one he took down. Show it on camera.
I know.
I'm gonna send you a picture.
Alright. Oh, I didn't. You know what? I think I just she said she wanted, she didn't see where things could go, like, she wasn't looking for any kind of exclusive. Oh, I thought I was doing a good job with her, but she said she wanted to have an exclusive.
You told me you like taking business.
No, I think so. Because I feel like you
It
get.
depends on the type.
Yeah.
Depending on what type. What's your type?
I think probably tall volleyball, maybe likes being indoors, likes being outdoors. You know, likes might have a pet, might not. I don't want somebody with 2 pets, honestly. You know, and I don't want.
Pets is too much because you smelling like that.
Yeah.
I fuck with this girl. It's actually a white girl. She always smell like it's fucking like a
Is that an old myth? Is that true?
She might not even have a dog.
Oh, damn, bro.
That bitch might not even have a dog. No, I couldn't name the dog because I don't know if she has a dog, but she does always smell wet. She smells damn, like she always does like a damn smell. I don't know, but it's like a smell she gives off every time.
She smell like Seattle, huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
24/7, but she sprays shit on, but never get rid of that, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, man. Yeah, I think I don't know what kind. I guess I like. I don't know. I like.
You ever dated a black girl?
Went out with one black girl one time.
What?
This black girl was wild. She had like a.
Additional supply depots required.
Yeah. Well.
Additional supply
She was
depots
it.
required.
Go ahead, explain the story.
No,
Go
I
ahead,
would
go
try.
ahead.
I would go again.
I want to hear the story, though. I want to hear the story.
She had a kind of a mirror on her ceiling, but it wasn't like it was on like one of those mirrors they have at like a bus stop, like metal. Yeah, so she had that mirror on the ceiling, and I was scared. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, she had that thing up on the ceiling, man, and in the corner of the room, she had like one of those coat of arms, like you would see from like the night times or whatever, you know. I think she was like one of those Renaissance fair sisters, you know. And she brought she had like axes on her. I mean, that bitch was fine now. So she was like as
Additional
white as
supply
you
depots
can get.
required.
So I was ready, you know, I was fucking fired up, and I remember fucking doing like this right when I got over there. But I would date a black girl, man. I think I definitely feel more open to it. When I was young, I think black girls were a lot more intimidating because they seemed a lot more like confident. And are they? Like,
They know what they want. Bring that little dick over.
oh yeah.
You want that big ass.
Oh,
They
okay.
want big. They want you to throw that dick over your shoulder like a milk. Yeah, what a big honest.
Like a dead fox,
yeah,
huh?
like a fucking rope, man. Like, you know, like, but that can be intimidating, which I hate.
I got a good rubber. I got
Start big, go down small.
No.
It's the opposite.
That's exactly how it's shaped, just like that candy corn. Come on, get me a candy corn, man.
Yeah, click that one.
Insufficient Vespine gas.
Heck, baby.
So,
Like my shit's shaped like the piece that lands back on Earth after the shuttle goes up. You know what I'm saying, bro?
does that work out good though? Like, Because you know some girls, some girls enjoy different cocks, man.
Additional
That's
supply
a
depots
whole thing,
required.
Yeah. Well, at least the good thing about one
So
bet.
that's a
The link thing,
Earth.
like a birthday cake, no?
Yeah, birthday cake, short stomach. But, you know, some girls, they like that shit, you know?
Yeah, like a big butt.
Yeah,
Like perm, perm.
yeah. Birthday cake. Fucking joke. Wow. You know.
I feel like there's so much pressure from black guys though. You have to show up with a big wing.
Man. Oh.
You have no fucking
bro.
choice,
You're
bro.
black. Throw that bitch around your shoulder.
Bro, put that bitch on your arm, bro. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Shit.
But is that pressure in the black community? You, as a male, you have to. Because if you don't have it, what do you do then?
Don't worry about it, bro.
Insufficient Vespine gas. Insufficient Vespine gas. Insufficient Vespine gas.
Y'all like some ram shit. Y'all fucking. Y'all.
Insufficient Vespine gas.
I feel like
So I just beat on the door.
y'all do it till it fucking bleeds. Like, just.
Yeah, I guess. My attitude is like when I get involved in sex, it's like, alright, God. Oh, it always feels like it's fourth down. I get nervous. So my shit, I start on fourth fucking down. Everybody going deep, bro. Everybody fucking, you know what I'm saying? Terry down there somewhere, I'm fucking open that bitch down there.
So it's not long. You just go. You don't have a long duration of time when you start, man.
Oh,
It's just
no.
you're already in fourth quarter when it starts.
Got one play, dog. Fucking going deep. That's it, man. So I got it. Yeah, I think I got it a little bit better. I think that's definitely one thing that's intimidating about black guys is there's definitely a thing that they're gonna be better at sex, you know. So then you gotta feel like, what can I do now?
You know that just comes.
But that's probably gotta be a lot of pressure though. There's a bunch of black guys. Feeding it in there, huh?
Yeah, it hurt. Depends on how you use it. That's why I'm a big emotion. Yeah, I'm big.
Yeah.
I like to bring some.
Like Magellan out there, huh? Like, oh, this hard to starboard. Move the sails! You out there.
So they already know what I'm coming with. I start preaching that bullshit.
The second you put on that captain's hat, they know, bro. They're like, put on the hat. You're like, all right.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Nah, but you know, yeah. At the end of the day, bro, that's what got some great things in life. Fuck. But look, man, you know, you got hope. That's the all that pound of bullshit.
About black people is that they have like the best origin story. Like they have the fucking, you know what I'm talking about? Like they have the fucking like, you get a fucking reason.
Made it from the bottom.
Yeah, like you get a fucking when you wake up, you have a reason in you. That's one thing I always was like real envious of.
You always wanted that.
Yeah, because I was in the fucking gutter, but
Yeah,
I didn't
ain't
have.
nobody respect you because they're like, yeah, no.
Right. Right.
Man, mi amigo was supposed to play some of that Age of Empires with me, but ain't happening right now. Oh, 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 oh.
Because I always really, really. I think yeah, that's why. I mean, I think it's. I don't know. It's like yeah, when I used to like be in like a little like, I used to hang with the black guys and be in like a little gang. It was like a shitty gang, but
So maybe okay. I was okay too.
it was just called. It was called. It was the same as like
It's not how much
NFL.
time you have. It's how you use it.
My heart and sword, always for Demacia.
Are you the hunter?
My heart and sword, always for Demacia.
Let me guide.
My heart and sword, always for Demacia.
You want style? You found her.
And
I know that then stood for niggas.
I don't know.
Sure. were in it.
I'd have to look back and see.
No, I was in a gang.
No sob story here, but my parents split up. Super high conflict divorce. I'm on good terms with both my parents, but they basically took a.
You are on?
Oh, I'm on very good
okay.
terms with both my parents, but they read basically the rule book of what not to do in a divorce, and basically just like systematically broke every one of those.
Yeah.
So I went a little bit feral, or a lot feral, from about 14 until 19. Fell straight into the skateboarding community. At that time in the early 90s, the so-called Embarcadero EMB crowd was really spinning up. Some amazing skateboarding. Rob Dyrdek came out to EMB and would hang out, but there was a ton of amazing skateboarding, a lot of fights, a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, a lot of pregnant girlfriends, a lot of chaos.
You were involved in all that?
Not every single one of those things.
Okay.
I won't my checklist.
I was like, that's a fucking summer, bro.
A lot of people dead in jail. It was crazy.
Okay.
But the skateboarding was amazing. I made amazing friends, and so from a pretty early age, I found that being in a big pack of guys, because at that time skateboarders mostly just guys, was my family. And so I started traveling for skateboarding. Admittedly, and I have to be careful here because the skateboarders are like picking me apart. I wasn't very good. I was okay. Got a little sponsor. I think they put me on for sympathy, but I was really part of that community.
Which translates to I'm way better than the
No,
average
no.
skateboarder,
No.
but I'm not as good as the very best.
Yeah, I kept getting broken. I kept, as a skateboard kid said, getting broke off. I broke my left foot 5 times.
God
I just didn't. My body hadn't fully developed. I had hit puberty, but somehow, I had a long arc of puberty. I think I'm still going through it.
Yeah,
and
it's good. It's good.
And,
I see your hair's coming in.
Yeah, little by little.
Yeah.
And I grew up quick as a consequence of those years. I learned, hey, look, a lot of kids just don't go to school. They just don't go. So I stopped going to school, doing a lot of skateboarding, and the whole thing of being truant got me in some trouble. I got put away for a little while.
You did?
I did. I didn't harm anybody. I didn't harm myself, but the school understood. This if you go to Palo Alto school, so as opposed to inner city San Francisco school, they're going to find you and basically get you, at least attempt to put you under discipline.
You have to be some teacher from that era's favorite story of bad kid who flipped it around.
Yeah, I think so. I got out of that place. That place was really unpleasant. Kids, let me just tell you, the moment the door locks, it sinks in. If you think life sucks wherever you are in freedom, think about how much it sucks when you have zero control over your schedule, your food, your life, your interactions. But I learned a lot in there, and I learned that maybe I wasn't responsible for everything. I was still a minor that was happening to me. But I got out, and unfortunately, instead of shaping up, what I did is I was just a lot more cryptic about my activities.
Sure, which is normal.
Yep.
Natural for a kid.
Got a girlfriend. She became my main focus. I wasn't skateboarding quite as much after that because I got hurt. Got really into Thai boxing, lifting weights, and running. I got really into fitness starting early.
Yeah.
We had a football coach at our school, Bob Peters, and he was the one who wrote the script that eventually became the John Hughes film, Mr. Mom. And it was called Wait Till Your Mother Gets Home. And he was this great, big, strong guy. And all the girls liked him. And I was like, okay, well, that. And this new girlfriend, and I saw a picture of her ex-boyfriend. And he's like this big, strong guy.
Oh, that'll do
and
it,
I was
right?
like this, this ferret, skinny ferret of a skateboard kid. And, so I started lifting weights and doing all that. And Bob Peters taught me how to take good care of my body, but also really focused on me also doing running and things of that sort. Anyway, in those years, I'd love to say that I got right back into school, but I really didn't. I didn't perform well in school, getting into fights a lot. I was in trouble. I've never been a drug alcohol guy, but I dabbled in some substance abuse back then. And got my girlfriend pregnant. There was a bunch of things that I look back on. I was really wayward. Yeah. So I followed her. She went off to college, and I felt pretty alone. So I traveled down to where she went to school, UC Santa Barbara, and I lived in the parking lot outside her dorm.
You lived in the parking lot?
Yes,
like a stalker?
So I could keep an eye on her. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
No, because we wanted to be together.
You fucking lunatic.
We'd party on the weekends. And then if anyone went near her, I'd beat him up.
Who's that guy? Who's that guy that went inside?
Yeah, I was kind of, I was really afraid to lose her. Pretty soon.
Wait, did you really beat up guys that came close to me?
I might have. And you know what? This is, and I don't recommend this. But you know what? It quote unquote worked in the sense that
it works.
She was just like, you're my protector. You're the person that's really there for me. So We got a pet ferret. We had, the whole
Wait, and
picture.
at this time,
you know?
this is like college.
I should have
age.
been. She was a year older than me, so I should have been in high school.
But you've now been lifting and throwing bombs for like a few years,
It's
right?
really bad, guys. Don't do what I did. Just don't do it. Well,
Unless you really want to impress a girl.
no.
Because it will
Listen,
leave
I was
an impression.
determined. I was determined to keep her, and then so we'll get back to how this can all go badly wrong. So what happened was, I had to figure out a way to get into college.
Yeah.
Because she was there, and I didn't think I'd go to college, but I thought, okay, what am I good at? Basically nothing. But I can lift weights and I can run. I like hanging out with friends and working with big teams, guys. I'd done all over that, skateboard shops and factories, and I thought, become a firefighter. Right? Everyone loves firefighters. I wanted a dog, so I started taking fire science classes at Michigan College in the South Bay. Loved the work. Just felt like it was just the greatest. It's like cook with your friends, like fight fires. Everyone loves firefighters. Not everyone loves cops.
And you know who else loves firefighters? Chicks. I feel like all of your decisions are chick fucking driven.
There's a. Or in neuroscience, we say that they were hypothalamic driven.
Yeah,
which is the
there's-
area of the
yeah.
brain. Here's your first takeaway.
please.
The area of the brain sits roughly over the roof of your mouth that's associated with all your primitive drives. The drive for sex and reproduction, temperature control, aversion of vomit, the approach to something that smells delicious.
This is all
housed in one little tiny brain area about the size of a gumball, called the hypothalamus.
Okay.
Amazing structure. Stimulate one small set of neurons in this structure, you or anyone else will go into a rage. Stimulate the nearby neurons. I mean, less than millimeters away, and you will try and mate with this nearest person of your particular proclivity.
Let's get that going. Where is it
now? So there are, I guess Elon's spinning up Neuralink. They got to figure out where to put the stimulating chip, but hypothalamus probably not high on the list. It's pretty sensitive. Get unwieldy. In any event, I decided I was going to become a firefighter.
Okay.
But then someone out at Mission College said, listen, you stand a much better chance of going up the ranks in the fire department if you have a bachelor's degree. And so I took the SAT. I have no idea how it happened, but I somehow managed to break 1,000. Not by much.
I thought you were about to say 1,600.
No.
I was like, you son
No,
of a
my
bitch.
girlfriend was like in the high 1,500s. I went to a school where literally they'd publish it as a double-page spread of who was going to what school.
Yeah, my
Harvard early admission, blah, blah. Now listen, there's a dark side and a light side to everything I'm telling you, because Gunn High School, Gunn, is the school that I went to, which is now infamous because the academic demands on kids became so severe that in the late 90s and 2000s, it was the high school with the most suicides in the entire nation.
Really?
There's a train tracks that run through Palo Alto between the middle school and the high school, and kids were killing themselves on the train tracks. It's like a rash of suicides. Yeah, you can look this up. Very tragic. Hopefully they've solved that problem. But kids at Gunn High School are forbidden from meeting earlier than 7 a.m. at the nearby Starbucks to start studying. People move from China. We're moving from China to buy homes near there just so their kids could go to that school, public school. Right. So this academic rigor thing can go a little too far. That's obviously not what happened to me at that stage.
Yeah.
But I took the SAT, I applied to UC Santa Barbara, and somehow I got in. I wrote an honest essay. It just said, listen, I was not a good student. I had some challenges early on, but I take responsibility for them. My girlfriend goes to UCSB. I want to be a firefighter. I want a Dalmatian.
I live in the parking lot.
I live in the parking lot. And it obviously touched a chord, and so the lesson there is, kids, tell the truth on your entrance exams.
Dude, I made up a fucking
Did you?
story about
Did it
a
work?
kid. I was like, there's a kid, Eric, who inspired me. He was gonna die. I made it up.
Wait, he was about to die?
Yeah, I was like, they were.
That is messed up.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
That's like the basketball diaries.
Yeah.
But
I think I was like
basketball fiction.
I was a terrible high school student. And I was actually curious to know if you were just always like this great student, as being somebody in academia now. But I was a terrible student, and when I was applying to college, I wasn't getting in anywhere. I don't think I got in anywhere. I guess I went to one school I went to, but they were like, you have to write an essay. And I remember I had this friend that whatever, he was just a regular kid. I just decided, I put a disease. I think I said, oh, he had cancer, and like he inspired me.
And oh my goodness, this podcast could be entitled "What Not to Do."
Yeah. By the way, he's fine. Okay, he's fine.
You cured him.
I think I cured him with my love. Yeah, my affection. I got into the only school that, first of all, I never heard of it, and then I remember sitting with a high school. I went to a prep school where they
Where'd you grow up?
Well, I moved around a lot, but I ended up going to a prep school in Florida, in the Vero Beach area, and all the kids, they did this thing where they post, and it was just like Stanford, Harvard, Yale, Princeton, all the big schools, all the impressive schools, and then there'd be a little drop to the next tier of schools where you see kids. Then there was a couple fuck-offs that were doing community college.
The same kids in the yearbook it said was not available.
Not available, yeah, exactly, yeah. And mine, people would go what is that? Because the name was Lenore Ryan. They were like, what is that, a special trade school? I was like, no, it's an actual school, a college, a university now. But anyway, I couldn't believe it. I did so poorly as a student. I took the SATs. The first time I took it, I got 1030, which they were like, that's not that bad. And I was like, I should take it again. I took it again. I got a lower score, and they were like,
turns out the random bubble fill approach.
They were like, let's stick to that.
I think you get 150 points for filling out your name. And
I thought it was
other
more.
Information.
Yeah, I think you get more.
Look, every once in a while, I look back on that, and I just think, a macaque monkey learned more in my high school than I did.
Yeah.
And
but a big part of it is that you were not yet applying yourself.
That's right. I was very serious about fitness. I was very serious about the girlfriend. I mean, I'd wake up on Sunday morning, run to her house, run 6 miles, wash her Ford Bronco while she was at church, just to show her I'm a devoted, hardworking guy. Because her dad hated me. He recorded our phone conversations, and discovered all sorts of stuff. He had every right to hate me. Right?
So
I was a punk.
that's true.
And when I say punk, for me, I was also really tight in the punk rock community. A punk, that's a term of endearment. But I was a punk kid. I was getting in fights. So, he had his daughter, and he had every right, and I think was reasonable in wanting to have her be with somebody who was really solid. She hadn't yet gone off to college. I think he was worried that she was going to hang back. And, he was somebody who had less than a high school education, who really made something of himself by essentially being a janitor and doing maintenance in all his apartments. So, now I have the adult perspectives, and he was doing exactly what he should.
Right.
For protecting.
So you're a really devoted boyfriend.
I was a very devoted boyfriend until I wasn't. Because basically what happened was I got into UC Santa Barbara, went down there, and it was crazy. I mean, at that time, it was party central. But I had already done a lot of that in the skateboarding world.
Right.
So I didn't show up wanting to party. I was like, this is just easy pickings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was getting into a lot of fights. She and I were getting into a lot of, arguments, and then no one wanted to go near us because, we were a little Sid and Nancy like.
Yeah.
Right? There were no drugs. I feel very lucky that I went to college in the early 90s. And if there were hard drugs, I never saw them.
It's really interesting that you describing what you were like and the absence of drugs, because it sounds like all the stories you would hear about somebody going and then I shot up.
No. For me, it was Thai boxing, and I loved her, and I was really passionate.
Do you still practice that? I mean, do you still box?
No, I didn't. I fought a couple fights. I boxed actually when I was assistant professor in San Diego. I started sparring on Wednesday nights and started boxing, but I started getting a little stutter from getting hit, and
so I boxed for a little. I just going to get lessons, and at first I did class.
It's a great sport.
It's the most amazing thing. And then I sparred, and I was like, I think I should probably not spar, because I feel like I need this brain to do the bullshit that I do requires my brain to not be rocked.
No, and listen, you call it bullshit, but it's important. And I think the real estate in here can't be replaced easily. My lab works on neural regeneration, and looking
you
back,
especially should.
I learned a lot. I mean, I think I've always had that drive, and so looking back, I probably should have done jiu-jitsu or something that Joe and Jocko tell me, or Lex tells me, you can go really hard in jiu-jitsu without having to worry about
your brain,
about getting cussed. So those years were pretty wild. But so at the end of my first year, the girlfriend and I had broken up. No one wanted to go near us, right? I had basically failed out of my classes. I was really dismayed, and what happened that summer was July 4th, 1994. A bunch of friends threw a barbecue. Some guys were stealing some stuff from the house. A big fight broke out. Police showed up. It was like knives, bottles, the whole thing. And I stayed up. I stayed on my feet. It was good. I didn't get arrested that day. Actually, one of the cops congratulated me, and I remember feeling just kind of hit in the stomach. So I went back to where I was staying alone. I was squatting in a house in Ala Vista that summer with my ferret. You know, I got the ferret.
That's
in
right.
the
In the
divorce.
breakup?
Yeah, in the divorce. And I remember thinking, like, I basically am like I'm officially a loser. I'm not very good at skateboarding. Haven't done that in years. You know, okay, I've got some drive to do fitness. I work at the Bagel Cafe. It's a job. That's minimum wage job. Girlfriend's gone. Getting in fights. Someone's gonna get killed or go to jail, either me or them. And it was really that day that I decided that's it.
There's not a chance in hell that they'll keep me. Here's what we call there's one cave.
This is Jocko Podcast number 332 with Echo Charles and me, Jocko Willink. Good evening, Echo. Evening. So, when I first started this podcast, when we first started this podcast, I was talking about different situations, how I handled different situations, what I thought about various subjects, different viewpoints I had concerning leadership and really concerning human nature, and almost immediately started getting feedback and started getting asked questions, and people would say, hey, have you studied Stoicism, or did you do a lot of work, looking at Nietzsche or some other ancient or modern school of philosophy? And the short answer was that no, I didn't. I didn't do that. I mean, I left high school and joined the military, so there wasn't this big educational background for me. I'm not an academic of any kind. In fact, there was a funny, one of the earliest live events that I did, and it was a relatively cultured audience out there, and someone asked, hey, who's your favorite philosopher? And I said, Lemmy. And no one laughed. Like, I laughed, but no one else laughed. And so I said, Lemmy from Motorhead. And a couple people sort of awkwardly laughed, but not much. And later on, we explored this idea a little bit more in the podcast. And because, look, there's much to be learned from old philosophers and old thinkers. And as it turns out, I agree with and I'm aligned with a lot of what they say. No doubt about it. I'm not trying to say anything negative about these ancient philosophers and the theories that they had. But the fact of the matter is I just didn't study them. I mean, like I said, I was a shitty high school student. I don't think I read any books in high school. So, yeah, I didn't learn anything about these things. I just figured these things out through my own random trials and tribulations of life. And it was a similar situation with Jordan Peterson. When he came on the podcast for the first time, it was really obvious that we had come to many of the same conclusions in our views of life, but he got to those conclusions through rigorous academic study and work as a clinical psychologist, and I got there through my experiences in life and in the teams. And I've been very lucky in that regard. Very lucky to kind of stumble into things, been guided in certain situations, been shoved in some directions, made some good decisions along the way, made some bad decisions, and been lucky enough to live through it and learn from it. So I've been very, very lucky. But I also pay attention to these. A lot of times I was paying attention to these kind of things because I was trying to teach them. I originally started paying attention to leadership because I had to learn it in order to become a leader. So I was paying attention and I was watching what leaders were doing. And eventually I was paying attention to...
Took a little break, I think. Have a good night or day. Eat healthy, yo.